Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the cave. So, because we've done the paladin and the hillbilly for a second time, that only leaves the monk, which means it is probably going to be a drop.
I know it was. Now my 3 mine cars is trapped in these caverns and caves. You'll bring those mine cars back if you know what's good for you. Maybe this dynamite will convince you. I need all 3 of those mine cars back, you hear?
Probably going to be a somewhat
say.
straight drop down from the prospector puzzle to the... Let's try this. Can you steal the object in the other character's hands? No, you can't. I'm trying to think if there's maybe a faster way to do some of these puzzles.
How am I supposed to bust through those cave-ins? I need my stuff. Bring me my stuff. I need it.
I think I already moved one character. Let's just put that down there. We don't need the bucket of water, we just need the dynamite. And then that will leave our hands empty. So, you make a mistake like this, you really don't have a lot of time to move the characters out of the way if you're trying not to die, which I am. It would be nice if at the end of the game it told you a total death count.
The old miner's instincts were right. There is a mine car trapped back here. He may have overreacted a bit, but at a certain age, you've got to do something that gets you up in the morning. Even if what gets you up in the morning is a dangerous lack of interpersonal skills and anger management issues.
So we're gonna pull this cart to the right position with my metal stretchy arms. And we're gonna use that. And then I'm gonna let go and let that get to where it needs to go without me. And I'm trying to walk off screen while this animation is going on to save time. We'll see if that helped us any.
My gold! I thought you was gone for good. Time to get down to some serious hoarding.
Nope. It did not let me walk off screen. Continue walking while I was off screen. Okay, so this guy needs to be here. This guy, I think you can't fast travel. Would have been actually nicer if you could. So this guy needs to walk all this way. Would it have been better if we if the hillbilly climbed ropes faster and climbed ladders faster, could fall a little bit further?
Who are you
Would that
anyway?
really change the game by much?
Wait, no. Bring back my mine cars. Then get out of my mine.
Alright. I could see if maybe I don't need the shovel for the third section up there because of the monk's ability, but I don't think that's really worth the effort. I think there's another death. I've probably died many times. I wouldn't be surprised if it really is close to like 20 deaths.
Dangnabbit! Present! Are you still here? Get me those gall darn mine cars.
Let's see. If anything, what's going on in the story, I guess it is worth looking at it from that perspective. The characters are getting increasingly less aggressive in these sections, because the first section was the crystal monster, which was maximum aggression, and then you have the miner. There you go, lack of focus. So our monk couldn't catch flies with his chopsticks. Which is probably misdescribed as a lack of focus. And I would better describe it as a lack of ability. There's nothing down here, right? It's weird that this curves downward like this. It should probably curve the other direction, so it goes back towards the center. Both sides should either be flat or curve back towards the center. That would make it easier. And it's a little crazy that we can still hear the flames from the carnival in this section, trying to imply, I guess, that this is right next to the carnival, which doesn't really make sense, because it just wouldn't be. We jumped down a waterfall after the carnival, and there's really no reason why this section in particular would be near it. Alright. And go and drop the shovel there. And we need the monk down this way. Is a pretty stereotypical story of the evil kung fu, evil monk character, that he's lazy, he's lacks focus, he lacks wisdom, knowledge, he lacks something that Buddhism/Shintoism would value highly as a moral fortitude or mental fortitude. And that's why he could never be like the true master of the arts. But a lot of it's BS, and like a lot of martial arts in general build itself around a lot of spiritualism and mental claims that really aren't there.
Hunger down here. I'm gonna roast me up some canaries. Now see here, I still needs me my last minecart, dagnabbit.
You can be very, very good at martial arts and not do any of the mental part. Almost any martial arts, and you only have to look at, say, the UFC for that. There's plenty of people in that. Or look at the professional wrestlers, the fake wrestlers. Spoiler if you didn't know that. But yeah, they train, they learn the moves, and they definitely have skill to perform the moves in a lot of martial arts things, although often when you're faking it, you're doing it a little bit differently. And certainly in Eastern martial arts, you do run into some extreme levels of shenanigans and BS where the people involved claim to be able to just swing their fist in your general direction and you will fall over from their mighty spiritual energy blast, which it gets down to what is depicted in Dragon Ball Z at times for its ridiculousness.
Get me my 3 mine cars. Okay, I will tell you again. Get me my 3 mine cars.
And all it is just the power of suggestion and hysteria. And that's why people subconsciously will fall over because of those things. Those demonstrations. I think Muay Thai. No, Krav Maga. That's the one I'm thinking of. Krav Maga is probably the martial art I would recommend anybody actually learn. It is a somewhat scientifically derived. Let's see if the Hillbilly gets blown up. He does. Alright, there's another death. It's a somewhat scientifically derived martial art that was recently developed, I believe, by the Israelis to take out terrorists with guns and knives and things like that, and like suicide vests and things like that. So it's really modern real world scenarios that you're learning how to interact with, like how to take somebody out if they're pointing an M16 at in your face, which is much more of a useful martial art these days than the vast majority of the martial arts that were developed in ancient times, when swords were highly regulated and restricted and knives were uncommon, and that's why a lot of the martial arts are just hand-to-hand combat or like bow staffs and bamboo staffs combat. That's not super relevant if you really need to learn a martial art, which you kind of don't ever. It's not going to help you in most scenarios. It's good exercise though, so I'm not going to complain about that. And if you just like to do it, actually it probably isn't even that good of an exercise on second thought, because it probably hasn't been developed or thought through in that way.
Miner can't have enough empty mine cars.
Oh, look at
That broke the
Those
can of
mine
corn.
cars meant the world to that old guy. Maybe a reward is in order, hmm?
So I don't know how we would reward him in any way.
Oh, hell. Go! Go back, go!
The miner wasn't such a bad guy. He was down here a long time, and that'll take its toll. Obtaining the thing you desire most isn't always as hard as it's made out to be, but it will change you. And that, my friends, is what's hard.
Yeah, I would probably suggest a general, as low as possible impact stretching exercises with minimal weight training. That like 5-pound weights for even somebody who's rather strong is probably your best form of exercise, where martial arts would be kind of high impact martial exercise. If you're sparring with people, there's a lot that could go wrong there. Yeah, nothing there. So for the most part, I think we're gonna not actually go through this pyramid section. And let's look at the cave paintings. We have on the monk, we missed the first one, and we're up to the fourth one. So there's 4 remaining. Yeah, and I couldn't swing past there. And that's the adventurer. And the adventurer section doesn't let you go any further than this direction. It almost feels like there would be some kind of trick to having all 3 characters in this area. Like some kind of Easter egg or something. but I kind of doubt it. I don't know if we really needed a slow door. Okay. So every playthrough you go through, it seems like they intentionally make you see at least one cave painting that you can't collect. I should have tried to jump. No. Alright, so all three of us stood here. Nothing happened. Suppose it was worth a try. And so we're not going to go over the top of the pyramid. We're just going to skip it. And we're kind of skipping everything. Now straight to the final bottom where the monk is. I think we do the monk before we do the... You can't even pick up a femur here. Interesting. It's not activated. Yeah, I think we do the monk section before we do the island section. Yeah, I would heavily recommend low impact exercise, because if you get used to doing low impact exercise now when you're older and only capable of doing low impact exercise,
the zoo.
that'll work.
Observe nature's wondrous
better.
and terrible beauty.
There we go.
You aren't getting away this time, beast.
This place is a nightmare. I hate zoos. No, I never like zoos. Never.
Beast Hunter Podcast.
So now we have to listen to this.
541.
Can't do anything.
Monster escaped again.
We went right from the
Still hungry, so I'm camped
the
out near her favorite food.
middle separating section to the last separating section, or the third separating section of 4 separating sections.
Hey, who are you? Don't touch those hot dogs.
Alright. Down we go. And the monk's already down there, so he has a lack of harmony. So yeah, look how ridiculous this is, balancing what one would assume is steaming hot tea in, again, a stressful pose. I don't think I can come over here and do anything. It's really not much of a jump scare that the character dies for a brief second.
Look, he's safe after all.
If
Surely
anything,
there are no limits to the charity and altruism this pair can bring to the world now that they've been reunited.
this character dying for brief seconds just scares you away from walking near the Crystal Cave monster, which is exactly the thing you need to do. So it's actually bad game design, because it's implying that you lost. And it really just feels like it is a attempt to throw back to Maniac Mansion without actually having the ability to kill for a character to die, like in Maniac Mansion. Which I prefer the very quick joke where in Monkey Island where you die for half a second and then it says, nope, you actually didn't die. There's not enough time there to get upset or rage quit or Alt F4 out of the game.
I had high hopes when they first arrived, but you'd be surprised how useless a clown can be in a high-pressure life and death situation.
Okay. I think if we get this guy down here to open the door, and let's just not have this guy stand on the door. I think maybe I can pull something off. Okay. Interesting. Wow, we may have found the combination where we actually need all three characters. Oh, these holes. Really just there to waste your time. No other reason for them to exist. And again, it doesn't really tell you if it's safe to always drop down a hole or if it's dangerous to drop down holes, because both things happen. Alright. So now that lets two people through in case we need that. But it wouldn't let three people through. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see if we can go get electrified by the electric eels with just the battery instead of the battery in the recorder. I think that probably would work too.
Well, it looks like that battery is all
Lack of grace.
charged up now.
Fighting. This kind of puts the monk as being jealous again, which does not really fall into the idea of each of these characters being a 7 deadly sin. So now we have, and there was an achievement for recording that elevator music and playing it back for the beast. We'll see if that really works. Okay. So that played back the music. Let's put it down again. Okay. I think I can leave everybody else where they are and they'll just fast travel now, so I think we're good.
Well, whatever else happens down here, our heroes could always consider careers as nature documentarians.
It really doesn't doesn't feel great when you're playing two of these separating sections back to back. And that's something that they could have, again, avoided had they just given us one of these sections
no matter. Valor waits for no woman.
As a midpoint in a story A, story B, story C. Kind of like a Resident Evil game, I guess, where you play as one character and you get a slightly different experience
All of that for a Frankfurter.
Playing as a different character.
At least it's kosher.
There's still a long laundry list of achievements, though, that I'm not going to get because it would just require going back and playing multiple more times. I think very possibly more than 3 more times. So even if I was going to try and get all the bad endings and get all the other achievements, just not dying at all would be a tough trick to pull off.
This has gone on long enough.
I suppose it's true what they say. If you want to make an omelet, you have to consign
So we
the
just
last
jumped
member of an ancient species to
right
oblivion
past
while destroying someone else's lifelong dreams and desires.
We just jumped right past the nuclear rocket. The door to enlightenment can only be opened by a true master. So we have to open the master's gate. And the hot dog's not going to cut it. Okay. There's a hint here. This is the only puzzle that has had any real signs in text. To a mind at peace, the lightest of things can be heavy. And so I think we're gonna just have to break this bridge and then call it a recording, because after this, well, actually, let's go a little bit longer and get about halfway through all this. There's more things up here.
We are now approaching the misty, snow-capped peaks the monk desires to call home. A sequestered haven of austerity and mental rigor.
Remember, we're still in the cave.
Are spent in the pursuit of becoming one with the world. Of course, our telekinetically inclined friend is not quite so ambitious. He'll be happy enough simply being the one in charge, no matter what it takes.
Yeah, let's go about halfway through this puzzle, and then we'll hopefully be able to wrap it up by doing just the desert puzzle really quick and the final puzzle really quick. Probably not. We still probably have another hour of gameplay. I didn't realize this was going to take us so high up. Like, you can even see clouds. I really thought I was just going to pull that one stick on the back side of the rock and the rock was going to fall down and break the bridge. But clearly that's not the case. And this being the last puzzle, it feels like maybe there would be a different story here. Something slightly different. But I bet not. Guy's gonna talk to us.
Welcome, young apprentice. You have come far, yet your mind is
This
not
platform
at
is
peace.
rickety.
To achieve enlightenment, you must pass the 4 Trials of Zen. Take this and begin your journey. Do not let your opinion of yourself grow too great. Remember this always: a single feather outweighs all mankind.
So I just wanted to check
Isaac
to see.
Newton was down here once. I'm pretty sure he would call that scientifically inaccurate. That was quite a climb just to grab a feather and turn right back around. I think it's a Zen thing. You know, the journey to enlightenment is more arduous than any mountain path. That sort of crap. Mountain paths are still pretty arduous, though.
Yeah, unfortunately I find myself agreeing with the cave, which is probably not a good position to be in. It won't let me drop the feather. So maybe this is just all three of us have to stand on the platform to break it, and I assume that the feather is the tipping weight. Now I drop the feather.
Our enlightenment-seeking trio has completed the first trial of Zenness, which I'm fairly confident is not actually a word. I'm a bit behind the technological
It's a monkey
curve down here.
head statue.
No spell check.
And I assume the monkey head is just so we can leave later. So there's 3 other trials. What is this? Something up there. Called, what was that, lotus blossoms? Alright, we've got lotus blossoms. And then we have a sign. Impatient thoughts are as petals scattered to the winds. So I'm assuming what I have to do is walk relatively slowly and turn my back when the wind chimes start moving. So to protect the lotus petals. This is not really what you want in a game. Like, I don't want to have to walk slowly in any game. There's probably some major contradictions in this story, and it's purgatory slash, yeah, purgatory I guess is really what you would call this, the cave, and its slight influences by the 7 deadly sins, although I don't think they got far enough. Oh, seriously. You know what? Just cheat. I could have done it the right way. I almost did it the right way. I think they probably intentionally made it so you couldn't do it the right way. Let's see what some other characters can do for us. Like, can I just come over here and close the window? No. Can I move the monkey pedestal? No. Well, I doubt the Hillbilly's ability is going to help me any. It seems like it turns me around automatically when I just let off the left stick. So I just need to be a little bit more careful, I think. I think I'm just supposed to close the window and then walk over carefully.
The monk has
Place it
completed the
there.
second trial of Zenness. He seems to be tackling these challenges in good faith and the proper spirit of calm. Of course, still waters run deep and very, very dark.
Next we have an ordered mind seeks equilibrium in all things. A sloppy mind just uses the internet. http://monkeypuzzle.com. See, 6 gallons of water, a scale pedestal, let's see, how much water in this pool of water. We now have 7 gallons of water. We now have 3 gallons of water. Okay. We now take this and we should pour it in there. Now we have 7 gallons of water and an empty 4-gallon jug. And okay, so there's 3 gallons of water. So if we take this and then drain this, we have a 4-gallon jug, and then that should be 3 gallons of water in a 4-gallon jug. So that should then pour 1 gallon into this. So we should be holding 6 gallons of water.
Let it be known that the cave does not approve of using external sources to circumvent official tests of skill and intellect. So I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. In any case, that's trial number 3 complete, technically.
It doesn't feel like there was anything tricky there. They really wanted you to solve that puzzle, and that's weird because there really hasn't been any other puzzles in this game, and it would have been nice to see something like that in all the other sections. Every other puzzle has just been go from point A to point B, get an item, go from point B to point C, use the item, and so on and so on. We can see this guy has rising anger. The path to enlightenment is a journey of peace and stillness of the mind. Okay. So you just sit here? Or do we have to go get the other characters? How long do you think a game would make you sit here? Just not pressing any controller. That seems like an unreasonable amount of time. And I see 3 platforms, so I'm gonna kind of assume that if this is gonna work, it is going to work with all 3 of the characters. That this would also be the only puzzle so far that we've seen that has required any of the other characters. And generally speaking, all of these levels do have at least one section that requires other characters, if not, in the case of the adventurer, where almost every section required other characters. If this elevator can go up and down on its own, by the way, then why do we have to push the elevator button in every other section? So I'm not pressing any buttons. There's an object of desire. There's an object of desire on the right, which is the teddy bear. And on the left is an object of desire for the knight. But I got my object of desire. So we totally cheated that. And then there's a ladder that would get the knight's story, which is not even something that matters. And then we died. Okay. I don't think I moved. So we can kind of see what they were going for here. That they wanted you to put a different character on each rug so that you wouldn't move to get so each object of desire would make sense. Although now it kind of doesn't make sense. And then after these three objects of desire, they throw the true object of desire that you would want as a player, which is to get the cave drawings. But I don't actually need the cave drawing there, so you know that that's a redundant one, since we've already played as the knight.
Our deepest desires can seem so real, so crucial, can't they? But in the end, just like everything else, their glimmer fades. Surely the most worthwhile goal is acceptance of one's place in the universe. Excuse me, I think these Zen guys are rubbing off on me. Well, that's all 4 trials. Enjoy the fruits of enlightenment.
Yeah. Maybe there's a way we'll get back down in that section. There's a rope over here we can't reach. So I feel like we're gonna destroy the Zen of this place, and then we'll call it an episode. We're 12 minutes over. Only in meditation does one gain the fullest view of the world. So there's a meditation statue, and over here we have something that's not being labeled. Looks like it's going to accomplish something. Let's see. So while that guy is meditating, let's see if another character can see something, and that's the trick. Like, I can't meditate. There's something over this way, a support bolt. So maybe meditating did zoom the camera out. And over here is a support beam.
All worldly pursuits have but one inevitable end: destruction.
Yep. So, as far as the cave paintings go, there's really only one more cave painting that we can get for this guy. The others are just redundant ones. So we've seen them. I'm gonna use this 3 times to remove the support bolt, which is gonna knock the guy into the ground. 4 times, actually. You have to hold it longer than it was.
Remember this, apprentice. Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts.
I can't really see the guy. It should have been zoomed out a little bit more. Alright. So this removed the support beam. But it didn't knock him over. And yeah, just quickly to mention, it doesn't seem like there's a way down to collect that, so you would have had to jump and get that, and then the bridge probably would break under you, and then you would fall down to a lower section. I hope I did everything, because it will be a long journey to go around if I didn't. I think I'm just going to ring the bells, and then he's going to stand on the platform like he did at the beginning and fall to his doom.
I see you understand what it is to be at peace with yourself. But be warned, a true Zen master is also at peace with the world.
This is going to hurt.
Yeah, I don't think that's the orthodox method for obtaining this particular position in the temple. But what do I know? I never passed comparative religion.
So now I have this glow around my head. That'll be interesting if the glow follows you throughout the rest of the game.
Do you suppose
It
the
might.
monk's companions knew what he was up to? Do you suppose he himself knew? Or was he acting out the only path he had? I have my own thoughts on the matter, and I've had more than a few millennia to weigh it over. But I'll let you reach your own conclusions. Our friend the monk's tale is nearly at an end.
So the fact that he says he's had a few millennia to consider it doesn't kind of imply that he's been dead for a very long time. The time traveler also kind of implies that all these characters would have had to have been dead, and this has to be a purgatory if purgatory followed a human timeline. It would have to be thousands of years, and clearly millions of years in that case. Yeah. These characters, if we look at them, you have the knight, which would have been in medieval times. He would have had to have lived and died. The twins are from Victorian times. The adventurer is from probably 1700s, 1800s. I wouldn't put it any earlier than that. Maybe a little bit later. The monk himself kind of could be at any time in which, Buddhism existed. The hillbilly has to be in somewhat modern times because carnivals exist in his story. The scientist has to be in modern or near future times, and the time traveler clearly has to be in the future. So, yeah. The timeline outside would have to be clearly millennia past, unless the cave lied, and then even at that it would have to still be thousands of years past the time of the paladin's time. Well, that's going to be it for this recording. We went a little long here, and with any luck, the next recording we will be able to do the island path for the third time, the island puzzle, and wrap up the game. And we'll get the bad endings for the knight and the hillbilly, and the good ending for the monk. And then that'll be as much as I want to play. It really doesn't... it's really not worth it to go and play the game 3 more times over just to get bad endings. Yeah, it really isn't worth it. In fact, we're not even going to be seeing much new content in the next recording because the endings are the only thing that will be slightly different. That's it for this recording though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.